Hello, designers. This is Rebecca, and this is your Assignment 3 Signage Critique. Let's go over the overview, and then we'll get into your submissions. So for this assignment, you were to develop a signage design for your business to build strong brand recognition and connections. So your checklist is to include a multi-page PDF file with at least five sign designs and at least two mock-ups. You were to include the main entrance sign design with the logo in it. Uh, you were to use colors and fonts that were consistent with your branding for the advertisements and then upload it on time. So let's go ahead and check out our first submission. All right, first up we have Ray. So this is Ray's main entrance sign, and it was to be 8x4. That's a nice big sign, and I think it's really great. I love the logo turned out really nice. I love all these little flourishes everywhere. The natural layout equation looks really good. And we can see main entrance nice and big. I think your information hierarchy is good. Your colors look great. I also like that we can kind of see like this structure. It's almost like a wire structure in the background. I think that's pretty cool. And then we have a show schedule sign. That looks really great. I love all the little details in here. This little diamond and this double underline with the texture in that line is really beautiful. I love how you created like this kind of faux drop shadow in here. It really makes it feel three-dimensional. And all of these little kind of horns in the signage, and all of the signage looks fantastic. It matches your fonts really nicely, and it just really does feel super cohesive. This little dotted border is also a beautiful addition, and creating this little kind of table with these lines to help guide the eye around and keep everything um, in a nice structure is really beautiful too. So it turned out really nice. Lots of great decisions there. Then we have this fun meet and greet sign. That's really nice. I think I'm just squinting my eyes. It feels a little unbalanced, but not when I squint my eyes, it seems balanced. I know that seems kind of stupid, but I feel like there's like a little extra space down here and like too much up here, but I don't know. It's not, it doesn't need to be changed. Sorry, I'm just like really thinking hard here. I'm just wondering if maybe you increase this flourish a little bit in scale uh, so that it comes down to meet, let me draw a line here, to meet that flourish. Do you see what I'm saying? And then this up here, like I wonder if the meat should rise all the way up to this line where that flourish goes, or, sorry, include another flourish maybe? Might be too much. Well, you have this one down here, so maybe it won't be too much. I wonder if you see what I see here. It's like there, that's what it is. I figured it out. Okay. There's too much negative space here and a little bit above the word meat compared to what's going on over here. But over here feels really good. So I would just give yourself another little flourish over here to come up to this line. I'm sorry, come up to this line that you made there. So you got about a little bit of a, get out of here, you. Ah, I'm having a hard time. So you've got a little bit of a gap here to fill, but not completely. Like I like the space between the T and this, maybe just a little, doosh, little squishy. And then just increase this size of this one to meet the baseline of this one. And then I think that'll balance it out. Okay. Phew. All right. And then with restrooms and concessions, yeah, that looks really nice. I think the same thing is happening over here with the restrooms. I want to see a flourish above restrooms that fills in enough to meet the top cap height of that R over there. Like just a little something. I wonder even, no, I was going to say, wonder if you even put a little diamond there, but I don't think so. And then Let me just see what's happening here. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Uh, Maybe a little something in there. Just play with it. If it's too much, then forget it. And then what's going on over here? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, good to go there. Really cute. I love the arrow shapes. And I think the diamond and the arrow tip looks really nice. Yeah, I think it looks great. This is a super fun sign. I really love it. Um, I am not feeling like this one is unbalanced like the others. It feels all right to me. I mean, if you get going on those other ones and then you look at this one and see that maybe you do want to change things around a little bit, you could, like, our floors come in here, but then down here we have like a large space and uh they're like a different scale, but it's not bad. Like it doesn't have to be completely symmetrical top and bottom, you know? This little flourish down here feels a little weird. Like I'd rather it was smaller and kind of just like a little simpler, like, but it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really need to. You could also repeat it over here, but I'm not trying to box it in. I just might be cool. And then with your picture, I love this picture. I think the wrist needs to be a little thicker. Just pull that point down a little bit. And because right now it kind of feels like this is like a puppet hand. Um, and yeah, just because it has a skinny wrist, but this is amazing. I love that. Really great. And I like that you underlined do not. Really cool. So this looks fantastic. I love it. Really good photoshopping here. Great mock-up. Yeah, really nice. And I think it looks like the scale that you said, the 4 by 8. So really fantastic work. And this looks good too. So if you do change that sign, just, make sure you change this sign. This is a really great find because of these like kind of Victorian inspired sconces, and like the bric-a-brac on this railing here is really cool. Like it mimics, the shapes within your sign. Um, it's a great, great mock-up. Good job. Excellent work. Thank you. Next up is Rebecca. So we have a concession stand sign here, and the restrooms this way. Cute. Great. Great. All right. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Oh, that's cute on the window. Okay, let's go ahead and come on back. So there, I love all of the detail and this kind of maximalist design with your like really intricate details here and then like our lights around the edges. I think that's working nicely. The effects or the yellow stroke on the lights, or maybe it is a gradient, is really nice. It makes it look like the lights are glowing. So that's working out well. This yellow on the dark blue is a nice contrast. And the gradient in your text here is really beautiful. And I like this drop shadow. What I'm wondering is if you tried it without the black stroke um, and just using the drop shadows. If not, that's okay. But what does not need the black stroke are these red and white stripes here because it's really competing with the word stand. Also, I don't think the popcorn needs the black stroke. You may just need to use not white at the edge here once you eliminate the black stroke to separate each kernel a little bit more, or give each kernel a drop shadow that could help separate that. Okay, great. I think if you did want to have something stroked, it would, it would be the text, the concession, and the stand, but definitely not the back. Don't put um, anything stroked behind the text. And this looks nice. So depending on if you leave the stroke on that text on the concession stand sign, um, if you do leave the stroke, then leave the stroke here. This is super legible, easy to read, looks great. If you take the stroke off of the previous sign, then take the stroke off here, but leave your drop shadows. These black drop shadows are working nicely. This is a more of a gray drop shadow. Same with this one. Well, actually, it's a black and a gray. I like that. I like the, well, hold on. So stand has a black and a gray, but concession only has gray. So I say do black and gray. I think it looks cool. And then I would do the same here, black and gray, like a two layer. This is really pretty. You know, I really like this, um, this like fleur-de-lis over coming over the sign into the white area. I think that looks really cool. I'm just looking at the others. Hold on. We're also changing our branding colors a lot. So I need you to pick some colors and stick with them, okay? This color palette is really beautiful to me. I like this sort of aqua, you know, oceany color, and then this navy blue over it. That's looking really pretty. So I don't know if you would consider changing this light blue background to that aqua-ish color. And then with your confectionery word, this font is really cool. I would do that black drop down and the gray drop down. I think that double layering is really beautiful. Sweets and treats looks good as well. You could try the black and gray, but get rid of that stripe between the red and white. We don't need to stroke everything out. Okay. With the stroke around this area here, I would just make it thicker, like as thick as you make your drop shadow that comes off of the text. Okay. I like this drop shadow in here too. That looks nice. I would leave that. I think you need to also bring the word confectionery down just a smidge. Right now it looks a little higher than it does lower, and that could be partially because of the drop shadow, both in the text and in this part, but uh, yeah, still nudge it down. Even if it says it's centered, it's visually not looking centered. I do like the drop shadow on the fleur-de-lis too. That's really pretty. I love that fleur-de-lis. That's lovely. So we have a lot of different, you know, um, little fancy embellishments. And I wonder if you could kind of stick to one. This one is just feels super elevated compared to this one. And I think you should stick with that one, this one. But then you're gonna be changing things on some of your other branding. But man, it really is gorgeous. It's really pretty. Okay, now this one. So I would change this inside blue to the, sorry, this blue. And this one, notice you don't have a stroke on the red and white, so that's great. I don't know if you need the stroke on this blue area, and is that the same blue? Sorry, is this blue? Go with this darker blue. It looks really pretty, or this darkest blue. I love that. And then you could probably just do that drop shadow that you did on the previous one on both of these. And I think that would work. And then if you change your drop shadow on your text to be black and gray, then do that here too. The yellow looks great with it. All right, good, good. So this one, whatever you do to your first sign that we discussed, apply it here. Change this background to the other blue, the teal blue, and get rid of the stroke of the red and white background, and it'll be a lot easier to read Big Top Circus Presents main entrance. Uh, it might get a little bit hard to read the aerobatic art performances with the double drop shadow because of how thick the stroke is on those letters. So I would just thin out the stroke um, and apply the double drop shadows to all the text on here, and not on your logo, of course, but on the rest, okay? So the natural layout feel doesn't feel completely balanced here. So, I mean, I can see it, like I can see that it looks pretty measured out correctly as far as the spaces that you gave for each section. So the part that's not feeling balanced is the text isn't stretching to the area that you've given it. So we've got like a big gap of space here and then over here. So what I think you should do is maybe adjust your tracking a bit for the word main entrance to spread it out a little bit. You know what I mean? And get the M and the E to get into the red areas like you have up here. So just, basically creating a line, which I can't do. It's not letting me do it. There it is. Okay. Creating, that's not where I want it. Let me tell one more time. There we go. So creating like a line where the M is going to be directly under that B, and then same over here on this side. The E is going to align right with the S there. So just stretching out your tracking. You can also give yourself like a double space or a larger space here between main and entrance that to kind of cheat that a little bit, okay? And then as far as aerobic art performances, I think that needs to come out to about here, like this, and same with over here on this side. So you could increase that font. There's definitely room to spread out those letters with a little bit of tracking. And also you can cheat these spaces between around the word art, make them bigger, wider, and that'll help a lot. Then I recommend putting in some flourishes in this negative space to make the I don't know if you can increase I don't know if you can increase the logo at all, because I don't want you to just stretch it wider to fill in that space. I think like a floor coming up like this and around a bit, you know what I mean? Like some sort of embellishment or several embellishments. Not too many, obviously, because we've got a lot going on in this logo. As far as like, cool detail like this, we don't want to compete, and you don't need to fill up every bit of negative space, but we do need to fill this a bit, if that makes sense. Okay, great. All right, and then yeah, get rid of the stroke on the red and white, and then you're good to go. And then just redo this once your sign is done, the sign design. But this is great, and I love this. So once that one is updated too, you can just update that mock-up. Great work. That's a lot of detail. Good job. All right, next up is Derek. It's turned out great, Derek. I love it. The natural layout looks fantastic. I love all the little details. These little guys here are neat. Those are like new. And yeah, it just all looks really cool. I love the balance in all of these designs that you've been making with the wheels and the circles. Like it's geometric, but somehow feels organic at the same time. It's really cool. And all of the shading and like lines, like a wood block print is just super cool. I love it. It's working really nicely with the fonts that you've chosen. It's awesome. Really cool. These details, this looks really neat around, like that you gave it a little negative space between the two. That's awesome. Yeah, this looks really good. Really good. Really fun. I love that it's like the ticket booth, the concession stand. It's great. And how you curved the text. Really nice. Really great. That's cute. I like the moving parts and the up and down breaking your baseline is really fun. This red looks nice in here too. That's great. Looks so good. Really fun. Oh my gosh, adorable. Really nice. This looks great too. Really nice. I love the little bolts. That's really fun. Wonderful. Looks so good. Oh, that's cute. I'm into it. Hold on, we're losing our color. This is really nice. Oh, that looks so good. I love the negative space, like the cutout. Okay, that's awesome. All right, let me just go back. I just got to double check some things here. Okay, so you took out your color for this one on your mock-up. Maybe because you had a red awning and you didn't want it to compete and you wanted to just have more contrast. Okay, I just love all the color though. And I do have to say, I almost want a little color in this one too, but it does look cool being like a cutout. But they could have some color in their outfits. Totally up to you what you want to do. They are so cute. Mm, I mean, it really does work both ways. So ultimately, it's up to you if you want to add some color and some contrast into those ones that you don't have the color right now. So, all right. Excellent work. Really great, Derek. Really awesome. All right. Next up is Joey. This looks nice, Joey. Really nice. Oh, fun. Okay. That's cute. Excellent. Okay. Oh, fun. Oh, okay, okay. So we don't have any flat ones, your flat final designs here. We just have mock-ups. All right, so um, this is really pretty, and I feel like this is something I'd see at Disney, you know what I mean? Painted on the side, kind of almost mural style, and I do like that. It looks really pretty. Like you did a nice job with your changing your blending modes to look to show the texture through through the paint, it looks really nice. I don't see the natural layout in this, like I'm searching for it, and I don't really see that. So there's that. But it does look very nice. Let me just say one more thing. This gradient in here is really pretty. It's the way it's like working with the colors in the sun and down here and having this text stroked. There's just all really nice decisions, like stroking this text to almost balance the stroke on the banner is really pretty, and the gradient in the blue text, both lines of blue text, just really almost seems like it's glowing, like it's backlit. It looks really neat. So this I wouldn't really say is sign design. I feel like this is just a marquee, you know. Um, the text does look nice. This text, this font pairing, but I wouldn't call this sign design. And then this one is very cute. The only thing is that it's confusing. I've never seen a camera with like a crank quite like this. So I just recommend looking back at a different, like looking at a real camera from this era and just kind of seeing what exactly it looks like. And cameras also don't flash from the lens. They have a flash above them or sticking out on the side. And so, I think you just need to reference a real, like, camera from like 1900, okay? Or 1890, something like that. They're going to be big. But the rest of it looks really nice. Let me just look at a few things. Okay, we're doing lots of different fonts here, and I need you to narrow it down to two. So this looks good. This is a whole new font up here that hasn't been used anywhere else. Maybe here. Okay, I see it. And then we have two different fonts here. Then we've got this font, which is also right here. So yeah, I think choose one font for these circular sun designs. I also like your yellow, double circle around the red center. And here we did something different. And here's a whole nother different thing. So you really got to narrow it down. I mean, I'm so happy that you were experimenting and trying lots of different ways, which is really cool. So pick out your favorite way amongst these signs and then make it consistent through the rest of them. Because I want you to think about walking through a casino trying to find a Cirque du Soleil show. That unless you have like passed that Cirque du Soleil show entrance several times before, um, you know how it can be hard to find things in the casinos because it's competing with so much other signage, so many other things trying to get you to stop and pay attention to them, you know what I mean? Or go in and buy something or eat there or whatever it is, right? So what we need to do is just make sure that all of this signage is consistent so that when you see this shape, color palette, and these fonts, you recognize it immediately as being part of the show that you want to go see. And so you know you're headed in the right direction. Okay? All right. Thanks so much, Joey. All right, here we go. Next is Claire. All right, so here's the main entrance sign. And we have a performers only beyond this point sign. All right, great, great. Okay. Okay, great. So let me go ahead and go back to the beginning. All right, so I love the nice large logo. So I see the natural layout. It's a little bit off because of how high this part is versus this part. And this part should really be kind of in this section here. So what you could do to sort of fake that is you could round the edges of your sign like this, just kind of shave it off a bit. And then you could make this come in and like whoop, you know what I mean? Like become a little bit fancier of a shape instead of this hard angle and kind of carve it up like that. But be symmetrical. And then, I mean, technically it doesn't have to be symmetrical, but I think you can be symmetrical. And then up here, the magic awaits does not feel like it's part of the same. Actually, it might not even be. It might just be the mystical mage and then magic awaits. See how I'm getting confused reading it? So I need you to figure out, do you want the magic awaits to be like one sentence, or is it supposed to be the mystical mage? You know what I mean? If it's supposed to be the mystical mage, then the should come down here, and it could just be magic awaits at the top. If you all want all of the magic awaits to be part together, then it needs to kind of spread across this top section. This top section is usually shorter than this bottom section. So there's that. I do recommend making the bottom section longer than the top. And then trying to think how you could kind of work over this point here. I don't know. I don't know if you want the word like magic to kind of arc over it, which it could. You could extend your sign up and over and, soften these edges. And then have be like the magic awaits and all in the same font. This is a beautiful font. I'm loving it. This upper and lowercase though, not working with the rest of the font. I'm sorry, with the rest of the signage. Um, and you could also use this font too, then it's not quite so competitive. We then allow Mystical Mage to be the fanciest font. You know what I mean? Uh, Something that I didn't notice before in your logo is this like triple white line is messing with my eyes so badly. Like it's making it look blurry. And it's also making it look very digital. So it could just be here, but I don't know. It's trying to think of how you could tone that down a bit. I think it might be because of that blue. So maybe if you did a black between the two layers or something. I can't tell what you're doing right now. Uh, just kind of play with that a little bit. Maybe you are using black already. Well, okay, here. You have this dark blue here. That might be what's in between. But I was going to say instead of three white lines, maybe just have the top line be white and then the bottom two be this darker color. I think that might help out. You can see how that works. Yeah, okay. I hope that makes sense. I think you need more space around the edges. You have like no margin, and that's making it feel very tight and cramped. So when you kind of reshape your signage, just give yourself like a consistent margin around the elements. Okay, great. All right, excellent. Then for this one, just a minute. All right, notice that your drop shadow or your extra lines are coming from left diagonally down to the right. And here our drop shadow shifted to go from top right down diagonally left. So I do recommend taking that back drop shadow and nudging it over to the right so that it's falling off the right side instead of the left. And then I feel like this is stretched, this text, and that's a no-no. Same with this. This is like so distorted. So you need to correct that. Okay. Don't squish your text, whether it is squishing it to make it shorter and wider or stretching it up taller. Um, just reduce your font size to fit in that space, okay? But all the little embellishments look great. I think it's working. If you do round the corners on that other sign, you could consider, changing your sign shape here as well, just to, keep it consistent. So this one, yes, we have distorted text, so please undistort that text. This text, our drop shadow is coming straight from the left to the right, like this, and it's not diagonally. So grab that back drop shadow and nudge it down a bit, but keep it going to the right so that it matches the drop shadows of the other signage. And then, I mean, everything in this sign is distorted. The hand is squished. All this fleur-de-lis is distorted. So just widen the sign and undistort everything. Okay? And then if you round your corners on the other side, just round these little sharp guys. Or if you do want some sharp edges, then this one's good to go, just as long as it's also in the other signs. Yeah, this is fun. You had some fun with the shape of this sign. Now we're using a different font altogether. Your drop shadow is correct, and I'm okay with, well, actually, it could come down a little bit because it's not falling very low below the H. So nudge that down. I do see distortion in that text, but it's not too bad. I love the 8-ball and the banner. It looks great. This one is definitely less distorted, but this is distorted. So I would say get rid of that, choose something different that will fit there without squishing it. And then, hold on, let me just go back. I'm sorry. You could mix this cool font in by changing the word only to that font or performers only, whatever. I don't think beyond this point needs to be the fancy font, and then here could be the fancy font or line starts could be the fancy font. Like, you know what I mean? You could just kind of sprinkle it in. And then this one, I think the text is also squished or stretched. So undo that and then give yourself the same drop shadow that you've been using everywhere else. And it's up to you if you want to change it to the fancy font or not, but the flourishes look good. This one seems a bit distorted. I just use that one again, stick it down here without it being distorted, but these look good. And then whichever changes you make, go ahead and just change them on these mock-ups. Great, thanks so much, Claire. Next up is Nathan. All right, this is our main entrance sign. Great, we'll come back to that. All right, great. Ooh, nice mock-up. Great. Wow, that looks nice. Cool mock-ups. Really nice. Okay, great. So, all right. I think that this was a really good solution to getting your logo in there as well as all of the info that you need. I think that you can reduce the width of this yellow stroke or yellow not stroke, sorry, border. It just doesn't, it's like really stealing focus from the text because it's bolder than the font itself. So I'm not sure how easy that would be for you to reduce, but I think it would be very helpful. And then I feel like you could increase your logo. I know it's going to make the sign much more vertical, but I also want you to increase all this text too in here. Like the natural layout is perfect. It looks really good. I like your horizontal rules that you use to kind of break it up. That looks really nice. So, and then instead of using these dashes, maybe just use a bullet point, like a little circle or something instead. Or you could see what other shapes are in the glyphs of this text, of this font. But yeah, you have room to make it a little bigger inside here. And I think you could also, oh, never mind. I was going to say get rid of the inside yellow circle and this blue circle and just make your font larger. But I see why you did that. It does make it feel separate from this part of the sign because this part of the sign doesn't have that stroke as well. So yeah, and it also balances. So forget that. That looks good. Okay, yeah. So I mean, I can also see why you made that smaller because you have it right here. Hmm. Okay. Don't make the logo bigger. Make this yellow, outer yellow border much thinner and increase the font in here. And just increase this whole part so you have a smaller margin. Usually I like you to have a large margin, but I think because the banners are so large, like I want the text bigger. Okay. These look really great. You could even use these little wispy things instead of those hyphens in the sign. Yeah, this is good. I like that you spread out your kerning here to, sorry, not your kerning, your letting to fill the space. That looks good. Box office fits nicely. I think box office needs to be centered a little bit more, though. It looks like you have more space over here than you do on this side. But that's it. Everything else is really good, and I like these mock-ups are fun. It looks the sign just really pops out and looks super three-dimensional. Looks really great, especially against that red wall. That's really, really great choices there. And this looks like it's glowing. It looks really nice. Not that that sign would glow, but you know what I mean? Like it's lit well. Excellent. All right. This looks really nice too. This does look like it's lit. It's lovely. Great work on your mock-ups. Excellent. Thank you so much, Nathan. Next up is Jessica. All right. So we have this first sign. Oh, and we have the separate ones, and then we have a little flag. All right. Cute. Okay, I see. I see. What? Cute. A little furniture shop. I'm sorry, souvenir shop in the staff area. Okay. Okay. So I'm looking for the words main entrance and I'm not seeing it. So I think this is your main entrance sign. Um, yeah, so I think instead of, I mean, while this is important info, I think this should say main entrance instead. It could be stacked like how you have the ticket booth, you know, main entrance, something like that. Um, but this is really cute. I love the background kind of circus array. Looks really nice. It's I like that you toned it down. It looks really pretty. It's very subtle and super cute. The established part of the sign looks like it's italicized, and it doesn't need to be because notice everything's kind of leaning forward to the right. And so I would unitalicize that so that that E is slanting backwards to the left better, and the S is not leaning forward. And that looks good. So these turned out really nice, these little things here. I think that looks great. And I mean, all the design here looks really nice. It's just that it's not, we need to know where the main entrance is. This is a very cool sign though, the cool mock-up. Like all this looks, this ironwork is really cool. So then this one, oh, I'm sorry, it says showgoers enter below. All right, that's cute. I get it now. That's just for the ticket booth. This is the main entrance. So this main entrance thing is just not quite telling me that. Trying to figure out how to fix that. You know what I think it is? It's because this sign is like more permanent. So it feels like a main entrance sign, whereas this seems like more of an advertisement because it's a flag, you know? And a lot of times flags on like street sign or street, I mean, light posts and things are more for advertising. So that's why I'm not associating this as a main entrance sign. Would you consider swapping those two things? Like, um, I mean, the welcome one and paw is very cute. I just, this just isn't substantial enough to be a main entrance sign. This is cute. That works. That works great. And that works as well. Okay. Yeah. So I'd say if you're going to have a ticket thing, maybe make The ticket booth be the flag sign, and make this part be the main entrance sign. Okay, great mock-ups. Nice work. All right. Next up is Tagarn. So, let me close this. There we go. Great. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, great, cute. Oh, that's so funny. Really nice. Very nice. Oh, that's cute. Excellent. All right. Hmm. This is really funny. I love that sign. Great mock-ups. All right. So I want you to notice how the white in this sign, how the bottom part of this sign is so much more contrasty than what's going on up here. We do have this beautiful white in the hand. There's not really any white on this sign and none on these two. So I'm wondering if you would consider for the sign making, I don't know if you can, just the letter part, not the foliage part of these letters, white, as well as main entrance, just to give us some contrast in the sign to make it very eye-catching. Because even though it's not technically monotone, it's like kind of tertiary, there's just not enough contrast to like grab your attention that this is the main entrance, you know? With this sign, um, you could have the word Showtimes in white, just the letters. I know that that's not how that font works. Like as soon as you select it and change the color, it's probably going to also select the leaves in the background. But I didn't know if this font also comes with just the letters on their own and you could overlay them on top in a white font. The other thing is they could fill this out with like a white chalkboard marker or a piece of chalk, and then that will, that will fix the white contrast issue. And then this one, let me just look at her one more time. I mean, staff only could be in white. That'd be an easy change. And I didn't, if you want to, you could make the stage show is white just to kind of balance that hand, or this way white if you're able to do that. And same with meet and greet in white. I think that'd be cool. But that's the only thing. I mean, like the designs are fantastic. These are really great mock-ups. So there's nothing about the layout that needs to be changed. I think this looks really nice, this natural layout. And the shapes of the signs are super fun. Everything feels very consistent and is on brand. Your illustrations look awesome. So that's great. I love it's all, all the problem solving is there. We just need a little bit of contrast in the sign to grab attention. I mean, like this sign is attention grabbing for sure, and the illustrations are attention grabbing, but we need the text to just pop a bit. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Next up is Patricia. All right, so we have our main entrance sign. Very pretty, very ornate. Will call arrow. Okay. Now showing. Oop, sorry, box office. Restrooms. I love these flowers coming through everything. All right. Cute. All right, that works. So I'm just looking. So on this one, we have our all four colors, and it looks beautiful. And I think the information hierarchy is good. I love the shape of this sign. The um, The natural layout is a little bit off, but it's not distractingly off, and I think it's all right. I think it's working. It's not, it doesn't need to be corrected. You know what I mean? It's working out nicely. So this one, I think we don't need that super thick stroke on the arrow. And I'm sorry, let me just look real fast. It's not like, I'm looking at your text. Would you consider changing this font to this font? And then having your stroke be about the same as this yellow stroke. I think that'll work out really nicely. Okay. Then, because you have room to play with that W, do you know what I'm saying? So like use a big letter like these, you know? Okay. Then this one, I don't really know what this means, like where we would use this sign if it only says now showing, like now showing what, you know what I mean? Also, I think you can reduce the line spacing between these, and why not have a little bit of yellow in there? Because it's just not super, it's just a little plain, you know. So reduce that stroke, maybe make it yellow, reduce the line spacing. But this sign just doesn't make sense to me. I think maybe a restroom, oh, well, you do have restrooms. Maybe a gift shop or something instead, or concessions might make some more sense. Okay, this is my favorite one. I just love like the flowers a lot, and the font is more interesting. The stroke is good. It's not overpowering the rest of the design. The only thing I think it needs to do is box office should just be nudged down a little bit, because this is like super close to this. It also looks like this B is a little closer to that than this down here. So I think just nudge it down 2 or 3 bumps, and I think that'll fix that up. Restrooms, this is really pretty with this yellow flower, and I love this font. So I just would decrease the size of that stroke. I think that's working nicely. And then these are really fun little mock-ups. I think they work out nicely. Easy peasy, great job. All right, next up is Kylie. Well, that's cute. It's really funny. Oh, cute. All right, great. Okay, very cute. Okay. So many signs. You had a blast. Oh, great. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just backing it up. All right, fun. This is great. That works really nicely. I think, okay. Sorry. All right, so this is very fun for the main entrance. I like that main entrance is so big. I am wondering if you would consider doing a drop shadow in this red here, just for the words main entrance. I think that'll really just like kind of anchor it even more and balance your color composition a little bit. But that's it. I don't really see, I mean, I do not see the natural layout here at all. Um, but I think it's working as a main entrance sign, and the information hierarchy is there, and I like seeing your logo nice and big. So there you go. This one I do like. I think you can reduce the size of the fish a little bit to give yourself a little bit more of a margin, at least up here on the tail. Maybe you could just nudge the tail down a little bit. It won't quite line up the same though, I guess. You could bring in that red as a drop shadow here too. It is lacking some contrast. Maybe just change this font color to the eye color, and that will help. This one here is a little strange. I didn't know what I was looking at first. I know that that sounds weird, but because here this fish is dissected, when I look at this, it looks like she's also dissected. Um, whereas I love, you know, when objects blend into the background like that in this way, but I think that you need a stroke or a drop shadow on the Canon. And I never say stuff like that. So, I mean, you do have a stroke on your wheel. So I don't know if you want to come in and I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like it's not terrible. It just takes a little bit of figuring out what it is, and I don't know if you want that for your people or not. And then if you want to change these text to this light color, you can, but I don't know if you need it in this one because you have a lot of contrast up here already. This works. I don't understand what this circle is here. This works as well. Oh, I'm sorry. And that's very cute. I love it. And I'm wondering what this thing is. So this one here, this circle becomes part of this design. So I just don't know what the circle is. I think it's like a mounting circle. Or is it a circle like this? I don't know. So just a heads up there that I'm clueless as to what that is. Uh, and what exactly is this refreshment? It's confusing. Is it a taco? I think it's a crepe, but I could be wrong. Is it a quesadilla? My mind is going to Mexican food. Anyway, sorry if I'm just not getting it, but I think it's good for you to know that I am struggling a little bit with some of the designs. Now, this one is cute, but this face is so different than this face versus like I mean, I guess it's more like these kind of little things, but I don't know. I think it needs to be a little more consistent. Okay, great. All right, I hope that's helpful. Next up is Claire. All right, great. Okay, pretty. Wonderful. You built a whole little iconography. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Little collection or even like a little library for yourself. So this is our main entrance sign, and I am seeing the natural layout formula. So I think that we're working with a lot of fonts here. Let me just keep going. Oops, sorry. Okay. Okay. I love the little background pattern. I think it could be even, the opacity could be lowered even more. I just don't think you need this up here. I think instead, sorry, let me just look at this. It could be something a little bit more um, like exciting or something like come one, come all, or step right up, you know, something a little bit more circusy, or it could be something a little bit more French, you know what I mean? Uh, so you could come up with like a little tagline or something to put there, but main entrance needs to be as wide as whatever it is you have up top there. So if you do not want to increase your font size, because you know we don't want it to compete too much with your logo, then go ahead and put in some sort of a flourish that matches your branding, to balance this bottom line to make the natural layout just a little bit more visually obvious. And then this text up here, just not crazy about that font. So I'm also not crazy about this font. So I'm trying to think about what you've used in other projects, if that was the font that you used, because I don't remember being so distracted by it. Like, I don't feel like it's melding well with this gorgeous font in your logo. So maybe I just need to go back and look at it, or you need to go back and look at the original branding thing and see if that's the font that you chose. And if it is, I'm sorry I didn't mention something sooner. I think like a more of a serif font. I'm sorry, more of a sans serif font might work better with this one, but one that's specifically Victorian. Okay, so oh, and I'm sorry, get me out of here. Okay, all right. I was gonna say you could also play with the shape of your sign, but this is working fine. And I don't think you need the logo. Um, you could put in like the little tent here and here. Those could be your little part of your flourishes or something. I don't know. Um, yeah, okay. So don't worry about the shape of your sign because all your signs are rectangular. These are working very beautifully. I love the framing. I love this little arrow spear thing. It's very cool. The text color is fantastic. I love the icons that you created. They're beautiful. It's all super cohesive, which I greatly appreciate. Um, I mean, I'm totally cool with these mock-ups all being the same background, because it just really shows how cohesive all the signage is. So it's working out nicely. It's all really pretty. So great work there. Really nice. And this is also really fun. I do like this background a little better than the one that's on the main sign. I think because of the tiling and that it's um, very monotone. You know what I mean? The color is a lovely choice. So I think I recommend using this one on the main sign instead. And I mean, not instead of this one, but in addition to this one, instead of the one that's currently on the main sign. And then this works, just make that logo big. Look at all the space you have. Make it big. I think this will still be legible, and I don't think it'll mess up your information hierarchy, okay? You have such a great logo, you keep making it tiny everywhere. Why? Make it big. You worked hard on that thing, and it's pretty. And I love that these are introduced back in. These arrows are super fun. Really nice. Sorry, let me just look at something real quick. Okay, these horizontal rules could be thinner, similar, I'm sorry, to the framing on these guys, okay? Smaller than, much thinner than, the arrow, stem of the arrow there, okay? Excellent. All right, thank you so much. Great. All right, next up is Deanna. Wonderful. Cute. Great. Cute. Awesome. Ooh, cool. Okay, let's get back to it. So these are working nicely. All right. I love, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth. Beep, boop, beep, boop. Okay. I got crazy. Notice how, so I think these two signs, they have the same background. God, sorry. The word gentleman needs to nudge down a little bit closer to the mask, and the word restroom needs to nudge up a bit. It's just a little too close to the edges here. We need a little bit more of a margin there. But I like all the flourishes, and the illustrations are really great. I love the drop shadow on the text really helps with the contrast. Ladies, this is what I was looking at. I noticed that the word restroom is nudged up nicely on this sign, whereas this one it drops down. Do you see that? Beep, 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 beep. So just nudge it up like the ladies' room, and then ladies, the word ladies is good to go. Sorry, because it has plenty of room around it, and I love her lipstick. I think that's working. It's really cute. This is great. I see the natural layout and it looks really nice. It's really nice. It looks great. So something happened here and that I didn't notice before. The word physician, our A is and the A's in magician are totally getting lost. And I don't know what happened there. So I noticed that in this picture specifically, the word this stroke seems to be darker than the stroke in the word physician. It might be the same as the word magician. You know, it looks like you combined your layers and then stroked it, and that's why we lost the A's. But on this one, nope, you did the same thing there. Okay. I was going to say you should just stroke the top layer, the very tippy top layer of all of these, and then we get our A back. I don't know if that's possible for you to do at this point, if they're already all blended, and if you know, in your, um, if you merge the layers in your Pathfinder panel, that kind of thing, then there's not really any going back. So, okay. But I do think that main entrance could be larger. It shouldn't be the same size as introducing. Introducing is not that important of a word, whereas the main entrance should be at least, it should be the first or second words in your information hierarchy. So on this sign, your logo is the first thing in your information hierarchy, which is totally cool. So then main entrance should be the next word, and then introducing should be the least important of the three. Okay. But I love the shape of the sign, and I love all this embellishment on the outside. It looks really nice. And this is a nice touch too. I think that's pretty great. This is fun. It looks really great on the sign with the drop shadow. It does look really three-dimensional. The only thing is that this popcorn becomes, with that black stroke and the way the line style on that back stroke, this is feeling super like mid-century modern cartoon, almost kind of like Ren and Stimpy style, which I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not really Victorian feeling. So I would recommend getting rid of that black stroke or maybe just changing it to a different color. I think that might do it. Just make it like the white of this sign, and that could be the fix. Yes, great. I love the popcorn bucket colors. I think it's a really nice idea with it being orange and red instead of like white and red behind this banner. That really helps to make the banner pop, and the text looks pretty good. It's not quite following the shape of this banner. I would like it to follow that shape more, whereas this follows the shape really well. So the should come up and then dip down. Magic should dip down, okay? So you might consider like type on a path for that one instead of the waving distortion ones. Then, well, hold on, let me go back. I'm sorry. If you chose like wave for like the envelope distort, instead of doing that, you could do a freeform warp and just adjust the structure of that warp to go along with the shape of the banner, Or you could type on a path and make your path. You could actually draw a path along the shape of this, then move that path up, start from over here with the left aligned text and type in taste the magic, and then it would flow along that edge pretty nicely. Okay, either one will work there. Great, that's cute. I do think theater could be a little bit smaller, but I love the width of it. So if you reduce the size, maybe you could kind of spread out the tracking a little bit, but I just don't like how low these are, unless you nudge the whole thing, grab all this text, nudge it down so that these tails go over the edge and it looks intentional. Right now it's just a little too close to make it, and it makes it feel unintentional. Great. That could be cool with the overlapping, totally up to you. And then whatever changes you make to this, I would come back in here and redo this mock-up. The only other thing about this mock-up that I'm not crazy about is that this just doesn't fit this board. You know what I mean? Like whatever size whatever shape your sign is, you really want to fill that shape in with your text and stuff. So if you wanted to, you could make this, move this illustration up, and then down here, like list some of the things and the prices that are available. That would fill out this board nicely. And then whatever changes you make to your main entrance sign, like the size of main entrance, do that here. But notice we're missing an element from that original sign, okay? Great, thank you. All right, Riley's up next. Great, wow, cool. Fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, great. Excellent. Okay, let's go back. So this looks really nice. I am not seeing the natural layout formula, but this is a very cool sign and I love all of the stuff on it. There's like so many details and wonderful things to look at. And I do see main entrance nice and big. I actually like how it's separated from the rest of the sign. The contrast between like this dark border here and then having this all light with like the darker text is really nice. It's really pretty. I love it. This is fun. You're the only one who did a parking sign so far, and it looks wonderful. I love the shapes of these little signs that you made, the embellishments on the side and these lines going through. The text looks awesome. I love the colors. So this, just to let you know, men's, I believe, has an apostrophe. Yes, I just looked it up. There is an apostrophe in men's restroom. And then same goes for women's. So you got to throw an apostrophe in both of those. And then just update. That's cute. I like that mock-up there. Yeah, just update these mock-ups here with the apostrophed signs. And everything else is good to go. So these look great. I do like the contrast in these. Sorry, hold on. Let me just see. Like the white with the pink. Or is this just all pink? Hold on. See how you changed it to have a pink background? I wonder if you would consider having it be white within the design, leaving your text and sun pink, but then having the pink background here. Or is that too weird? Sorry. I just think the contrast is so nice. Sorry, one more thing on this one. These shouldn't touch the edge of this sign, so just scale that down a bit so that you have a margin there. This is cool back here, though. I like that. That's neat. This is pretty close, but I see a little bit of an edge, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so up to you if you want to change some things to white there, okay? Thank you. Aylin is next. All right. Me. All right. Cute. Okay. So for this sign, it's very to the point, and I don't see the natural layout formula in play. I think I would see it better if we had, I mean, I see why you chose to curve theater. It does look nice on this mock-up. I think you could, to make it feel more like the natural layout, I recommend adding some embellishment on each side of theater. And then main entrance needs to be larger than the word theater and taller and wider. So main entrance should come out like this. So you may need to reduce the whole size of the entire font. I'm sorry, the entire sign to fit into the shape. Uh, but that's okay because main entrance needs to be almost half the height of these letters here. Okay, it needs to come out further as according to the natural layout formula. Then if this is the sign that you're using, you've got room for embellishments over here too. You want it to seem like this shaped sign was made specifically for your event. So you got to fill up that space and not have a bunch of negative space, or it doesn't feel like that. Okay, great. So with these mock-ups, I recommend changing your blending mode to try multiply or overlay, just to see a little bit of texture coming through the design a little bit more, because it doesn't look like it's part of the background yet. But if you change that, then it will. And center it up onto this door a little bit better, nudge it over to the left. But I think I love the shape of this design that you made here. I think you can nudge the word backstage down just a little bit. We have a little bit of room. Leave performers only where it is, but nudge the words backstage down a hair. Okay, great. These are really good. Also change the blending mode on these two. Very cute. See, these do feel like they fit into the shape pretty well. So I'm happy with that. Just try overlay or multiply. You may have done that. And if that's the case, then you could reduce your opacity by 10 to 30%. Just play with it and see what looks right without losing too much info, like too much of your color palette. Yeah, this works. I think you could also nudge bathrooms down just a hair. It looks a little closer to the top than down here, so I think that'll work. I don't like squeezed text, and it does look like you did squeeze these words. So instead of doing that, just you know, reduce the size of the font so that it fits, and then just change the shape of your sign. You know what I mean? Like you built this thing, so just change it so that this part's not so tall. I'm wondering if you tried the arrow in red. I guess it doesn't matter. Doesn't make sense. Never mind. Don't do that. Keep it in blue, just like all the rest of your signs. Okay? No squeezing or distorting text. Thank you. And last up is Cynthia. Great. Oh, I like the little crow. Excellent. Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay. So let me just start back at the top. Hold on. Oh, okay. Okay. So this mock-up made you have to create it as a rectangle, but you also have this version with the corners. Okay, cool. I got it. This is really nice. I don't quite see, well, I guess it is there. I was going to say I don't quite see the natural layout formula exactly. And I think it's because it jumps from an exhibit of oddities down to main entrance here. So maybe what you might consider doing is swapping the crow and main entrance, you know, um, because then that will make it feel more balanced with the logo up here, and then just have main entrance be like very even larger down here, like large enough to be where the height is almost half of the size of spectacle, you know, which it might, no, it's pretty close, but not quite there yet. Then that'll make it look uh, more like the natural layout. I also think that you could go bigger on the logo up top here. Like the negative space that you have is very beautiful. You know, it really does frame everything nicely, but I just, I mean, I guess you do have the hollow spectacle here. Hold on, let me work this out in my brain. Yeah, okay. So I do think you can go bigger with the logo, about twice the size, you know, 50% more or 100% more the size you have, and it won't compete with this text here. Then you can still have the exhibit of oddities, have the crow below it. You can have that little leaf and then have main entrance nice and big. Or you could have the crow sitting on an exhibit of oddities. We could try that, something like that, you know. And instead of the little leaf here, you might play with putting it on the sides um, of the crow or something, like flipping it so that it kind of extends out to the same width as these guys here, because they might need to move as well. Then I feel like that would, the top part of the sign would be more falling in line with the natural layout, and then you'll have main entrance down here that doesn't have to do with the natural layout. It's just its own little part, but it is the second, you know, it's still the second largest text, but even bigger than it currently is. Okay, I think I got it all. And you don't have to do both signs, you can just pick one to move forward with. Um, this works as is. It's great. Nice, really nice uh, sign shapes. So that's working. Um, I don't know if you need to exit and parking. I would just get rid of to exit and parking and just put a cooler arrow down here. Same with this one. I don't know. And you don't need two shapes unless you did for your mock-ups and I missed it. Okay. That's cute. Okay. Um, I think popcorn, candy, drinks, and more could be larger. And that's it for that. Okay. And then, sorry, that works. That's fine. Great. Okay, great. So you didn't have, just get rid of this exit sign. This one's way more fun. And just have a cool arrow down there that's a little more vintage. Okay, great work. Good job, everybody. This is a hard assignment. You did great. Thank you.